Hi everybody, and welcome to a special Beerploma Presents. Jason and I have been on the road now since about 3:30 in the morning, and we are making our way to Kalona, Iowa for our first stop at Kalona Brewing. We still have a couple hours left to go, but hey, we wanted to also record some of the trips so you guys can take a look and see this little adventure that we're going on. So I hope you enjoy. Grab a beer and kick back with us. Prost. Hi everybody, and welcome to Kalona, Iowa. We just pulled into Kalona Brewing and we're about to step inside to see what makes their beer so great. We've got a lot of great stuff lined up for you and a lot of great beers on tap. So grab a beer, kick back and join with us. Prost. Okay everybody, I'm inside Kalona Brewing now in Kalona, Iowa, and I'm here with owner and head brewer.
I'm one of the owners, yes.
Lou. So Lou, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been brewing since the 80s, started home brewing in the 80s. We lived in Seattle at the time, and found that became a passion. And Red Hook was just kind of getting going about that time, and so I stopped by there one day and asked if they ever used casual labor, and they said, yeah, come on in on a Saturday, we'll see you.
Okay.
And so I started, going to Red Hook and started working on their bottling line, and which was pretty crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to feel what the professional end of the thing was like compared to what homebrewing was like.
Okay.
And then a few years later, I worked for another fellow named Mike Hale. He has Hale's Ales, and so I actually got to brew for him, which was really cool. And then we moved out here in the mid-'90s, and
You moved here to Kalona?
to Kalona, Iowa.
Okay.
And after a few years of being here, I went to work for a guy named Gary Fitzpatrick in Iowa City at Fitzpatrick's. Worked for him for a couple of years, and then went back to what I had been a painting contractor for a long time. So I went back to that, always with the dream, always kind of had the dream of hoping to have my own place someday, It was a good dream. So it finally, the opportunity came up and finally presented itself, and I ran with it.
Okay.
Little story, we decided we were going to do it, a premium style lager. And,
Yep.
And so my partner, who doesn't really brew, he does all the stuff I don't like to do, the paperwork, the taxes and all that, So anyway, he came in and helped me. He was going to help me with it, so we're going away, and I didn't double check things, and someone neglected to put the grate in the bottom of the mash tun.
Oops.
So, we're going along with the brew, and all of a sudden it's time to recirculate, and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's not coming out. So we had to mess around with it, and we finally got it through, but it ended up being kind of a light beer, not the premium lager. So we went ahead, since we'd already put the time into it, let it ferment out, and it was awesome. I mean,
so now, did you keep the recipe that way?
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it really wasn't, because of all the things we had to do to get the final result, it didn't really go with the recipe. But I mean, the basic ingredients and all that were the same, so I just had to play with it. And
Why cans over bottles?
Well, in our opinion, cans is a better package.
Mm-hmm.
With a bottle, you can still have some air ingress on the cap. It's not 100% sealable. That little plastic liner in the cap, there's been studies done that can absorb as much as 30% of the hop aroma. A lot of places aren't allowing glasses, like beaches, golf courses, venues, and so they will allow cans because they don't break. And if you go hiking or something, they're a lot easier to pack in.
Up in Minnesota, especially now this time of year, it's hunting season, so
Absolutely.
The hunters are all wanting the cans and stuff. They don't want the bottles out there. So.
Yeah, well, Surly didn't mess around with bottles.
So you were at the GABF?
Yeah.
So for those of you guys out in the audience there, the GABF is the Great American Beer Festival. It's one of the biggest beer festivals in the United States.
Yeah.
So were you there as a participant, or were you there as a just
Participant.
So
we had a festival booth. We served 5 beers while we were there.
okay, how'd your beers do?
They did okay. They didn't win any prizes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, everybody hopes. But
Is this your first year at GEBF?
first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll be
gotta
back
start
next
somewhere,
year.
so, yeah.
You bet. We got you know, the judges. They send you their comments, and so you can
tweak your recipes a little bit. And
if
if you need to.
If you need to.
I mean, you
If
wouldn't
you're
want to
in-
tweak something that your audience here loves. I mean,
Yeah.
why do that? Why mess with something that your audience is digging into?
Right.
So, but at least they give you the feedback. Though, so
Right,
that's good.
right. And so you take that and you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can implement their comments.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But it was fun. It was great.
I bet. I really want to go to GABF one year.
You really should.
What's in them today?
Lewbricator, such a much. Steroid stout and Lewbricator.
Okay. So they Carolina such much and Lewbricator. So are those two of your top sellers?
Yeah.
Okay. Are those either one of those your flagship here?
I'd say at this point, probably Lewbricator is.
Okay.
We were, of course, there's what you want to brew and then what your market wants.
Yep.
So you just got to put stuff out there to figure that market out. And we found that there's a niche market for such a much, or for hobbier beers, but the predominant part of our market prefers either lighter beer or a malty beer.
Okay.
Kind of on the sweet malt type of thing. So Lewbricator is a really good seller for us. Such a much is a really good seller for us, but I'd have to say that at this point, Lewbricator is probably the flagship.
I noticed you got a couple barrels sitting back here. Anything cooking in those?
Yeah, we have. We just emptied 4. We had Lewbricator and steroid stout. These are Cobalt barrels. There's a distillery in Chicago named Cobalt. They're third generation Austrian distilleries, and they make a fabulous product. And their product really helps our product. And we have a Belgian double we call it Double Night Vision. And to me, that's probably been our best barrel aged beer. But Lewbricator and steroid stout are right behind it in the quality of barrel aging we get. And we've got UBU in that barrel right now.
Questions here. We reached out to our Facebook group and our Reddit groups, and we got some questions for you. So we're going to start with some of these. Now, some of these guys got some real weird handles here, so bear with me here a little bit. So the first one is from Mr. Hotshot, who posted in Reddit, have you considered teaming up with another Iowa brewery for a collaboration beer?
We have actually. We've already done a collaboration with a brewery, but it wasn't an Iowa brewery. Our first collaboration was with Brickstone Brewery in Bourbonnais, Illinois.
Okay.
And
what was the beer?
it was Oktoberfest last year. We did an Oktoberfest with them. That was really fun. I've talked with Chris Prevey over at Millstream, and I want to do something one of these days. And who else is? Peter up at Worth Brewing. We'd like to do something too. Yeah.
Both are really good breweries.
Yeah.
So
You've been to Worth?
I haven't been to either one of them, but I've had beers from both of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Peter's a great brewer.
Okay.
Does a really good job. So is Chris.
Okay, and then I have from TCPIP for Life, again posted on Reddit. What is one of the biggest hurdles you had to overcome in opening your brewery?
Probably the construction process was probably seriously the biggest impediment, because there was no infrastructure here whatsoever. There was no plumbing. There was a bathroom right by the back door. That was it. And so there was no plumbing. Like I say, these floors were from 1940. They're 4-inch pads with no steel in them. It was the same way back in the back, so we had to tear out about 2,500 square feet of floor back there and pour a 6-inch slab with a lot of steel in it. Put the trench drains in to be able to hold the weight of these fermenters.
Yeah, so a lot of work had to go into it.
Yeah, and just the windows, and there were like 7 ceilings, I think, that had to come down. And so I'd say probably the construction process. We changed the whole front end. It used to be those glass blocks, and they kind of had a funny little wavy thing as it led into the door. And so we didn't really want that look or feel. So that came out, and we had to, engineer this whole front steel framing to come in one piece.
Charlie XLS from Reddit asks, why don't you produce any beers with a higher alcohol content?
Higher than what?
I'm not. What is your highest alcohol content beer?
Well, up to this beer that we just released, a week or two ago, 9.1, 9.2 on our double whammy.
Well, I don't know how anybody can complain about it. 9.2.
So,
That's
our IPA, our Such a Much and our Aberration are both around 7.2. Our Lewbricator is 7.5.
That's
so we
there,
make pretty. I think we make pretty. We have others that are down in the 5 and 6 range, and a few in the 4s.
Now, most of these available in outside distribution, or are a lot of those available here in the brewery?
They were. We had about. What do we have? About 12 products. We have about 12 products of those mini growlers on the shelf in the beginning.
So they were out there.
And so they were out there, and then we started to pare it down. So some of them still are.
Okay.
Now we just released UBU in the mini. It'll probably be our last mini release, and now it's 10.3.
Okay.
So it's another imperial stout, but it's kind of on the other side of the spectrum from double whammy.
Okay.
Taste-wise.
This last question is from Shut Up Clarence. How did you decide to make Such a Much?
Well, I've been homebrewing a long time, so I knew that one of our first beers had to be an IPA.
Okay.
And I've been, I've done a lot of IPAs over the years, so I just kind of had an idea of what I wanted. I wanted a lean and mean, what I call a lean and mean IPA, and so we just structured Such a Much to be that. And as opposed to Aberration, it's a little more on the malty side with the same kind of hopping, but just maltier. So that's how we came up with Such a Much.
There we go. Okay, I'm here with Mike, and we get a special treat. We actually get to sneak back into a kitchen of a brew pub here. So this is Mike, the executive chef. Thanks for being on our show for us. So tell us a little bit about your history with Kalona Brewing.
Well, I've been here since we opened in September of 2013, so just over a year. I was brought in a couple months before that event took place by a local chef from Iowa City. A bit of a local legend. I was attracted to working with him because of his history, and that is Chef Dave Burt, who worked at the Red Avocado.
Okay.
Which is a big local hub, vegan restaurant in Iowa City.
Well, let's talk about some of the items that you have on your menu. What would you recommend to people making the trip out here to Kalona?
Well, as you see behind us, we have a Woodstone hybrid wood-fired pizza oven, and we have a lot of fun coming up with these authentic Italian pizzas.
Okay. So not a whole lot of sauce.
Original.
So not over sauce, but just a good flatbread with.
Absolutely, we make our own dough in-house. We make a majority of our stuff from scratch in-house, using local and organic ingredients if possible. With the pizzas, we do get San Marzanos imported from Italy.
Okay.
Just the tomato sauce, and it's the homemade dough, and it's stretched for order, so it's all that.
There we go.
Good stuff.
Sounds tasty. So you touched a little bit there about about how you guys try to source your stuff from local and organic ingredients. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, wow, who are you partnering with today?
Well, staples on our menu, bratwursts. We have a pork source from Mount Vernon, Iowa, Pavelka Points Farm.
Do you grind here?
We actually get the ground pork
Okay.
from them, and that goes in our Italian sausage. And the brats come ready as well.
Okay.
And we cook them with our own beer. And all of our dairy products come from Kalona Supernatural,
Okay.
which is just a couple miles this way down the road here. And they're doing so well, they're distributed nationwide.
There you have it. So, how much do the beers that they brew impact what you're cooking? I mean, do you guys take into account beer pairings and food pairings?
Absolutely, yeah. I could have answered also like, yeah, the more we drink, the more fun. But I am encouraged to cook with the beer,
Okay.
as in put it into the food.
Okay.
We have a killer beer batter that we use for onion rings and cheese curds and fish and chips. So that's fun. Also make breads with the stank grains from the brewery. So that's just like actually using that as an ingredient. But it's the wide array of beers that we have. And in my humble opinion, you know, they hit the whole spectrum, and I think it's high quality out of all the flavors. I'm a chef, and I try not to be picky about the foods that I'm passionate about. I try to like take the whole and understand where these flavors are coming from.
That's good.
So I think Lou does a good job with that too. You know, from the pale ales to the lagers to the stouts.
So, what's your favorite beer and food pairing? If you had to recommend one to all the audience here, I know it's like picking your favorite kid here, but
I guess it's morning time, so I'm having my coffee, so I would recommend a steroid stout with some kind of chocolate dessert.
some kind of chocolate. Oh, that would be a good pairing.
Right. Or a donut type dessert.
It is morning, so.
Yes, sir. But can I just throw a couple more out there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like the Mediterranean pizza has balsamic production, which is a little sweet, a little tangy, and I find the Saison Saison has great balance there.
Yeah, that would be a good pair with the Saison.
Yeah, there's a lot of fresh vegetables there too. And quick wit, I enjoy some seafood perhaps.
Okay.
You know, believe it or not, there's a little citrus element there to it.
Okay.
And Lewbricator with prosciutto.
Oh, that sounds good too. So making me hungry here. I haven't had breakfast yet.
There's some homework for you guys.
There we go. So, anything else you want to cover that you want to let your audience know about?
Well, I think that the brewery itself is going to expand as far as where you see our products around the state of Iowa. So, my hope is customers out there are enjoying our beer on the road. Well, once they get home safely. And associate this location on the map as a destination. Come out here and see where it's made and have some awesome local organic food at the same time.
That sounds great. Thank you very much for meeting with us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Okay, so this is your Sheer Madness Sweet Noir.
Wheat Noir, yes.
So tell me a little bit about this beer.
Well, we wanted to do a wheat beer. We have a couple of wheat beers on already. We have our Belgian style, and we have a honey wheat. And I always wanted to do a black wheat that didn't taste black. So we kind of designed Sheer Madness to be that. It's, in a pint glass that has the appearance of being black. It's pretty. It's in a smaller glass like that, the mahogany shows up. But for some reason, glass is interesting, and when you put it in a pint glass, it looks much darker. So
Okay.
I wanted it to be really dark, but have just a hint of roastiness and a hint of chocolate, and maybe some caramel notes in there, and have the wheat come through.
I am getting the roastiness out of it and the hint of caramel, and so I'm getting that too. But it still has that weedy, bready taste to
Right.
it. I mean, it's very well balanced, and it actually does really well with the hops presence too. This is the Lewbricator.
It's our wheat doppelbock.
So this is your wheat doppelbock. So why wheat doppelbock? That's not something you see in a brewery all that often these days.
No, well, I've been, again, home brewing roots. I've been making the Lewbricator for a number of years. And we wanted a good malty beer for our beer drinking public here. And
That's got a nice foamy head on it. I'm sure the camera isn't doing it justice to what it's doing, but I mean that is like it's like cream sitting on top of there.
Yeah, almost a meringue. But we knew it's really easy drinking. It's got a nice sweet malt up front, and pretty much carries through all the way, and a nice a little bit of dryness in the finish, but just kind of like we see on the can, just more, please.
Yeah, well, and for sure, and what I find with a lot of Doppelbocks is that there's this really heavy aftertaste to it, but there's an aftertaste to it, but it's not a heavy aftertaste. Like I don't feel bogged down by this. I feel like I get like you said, I could have one of this.
Right.
So,
Such a much and aberration.
so this is your Such a Much, and this is like one of your flagship beers, right?
Yes.
So, and then sorry, what was this one?
Aberration.
Aberration. So, aberration, is that because it's an aberration of the Such a Much?
Yes.
Okay. I'm definitely seeing a difference in color. One is slightly darker, not by a whole lot now that I hold them up in the sun. But I'm seeing a much darker head on the aberration. Very smooth. I'm definitely getting that Cascade type hops flavor out of this one.
There's a lot of sea hops in that one.
So, and but I am still picking up a little bit of the caramelness of the actual pale ale part of it. So, but other than that, that's a really good. I can see why the hopheads really like this one. Now this one is much more smoother, and the caramel, the maltiness comes out much more in the aberration. So I'm still getting that hoppy note from it. Where I can see more of our surly drinkers drinking this one.
Right.
Where I see more of our, I don't know,
Summit.
Yeah, your Summit drinkers would probably be more picking this one. That's a good one.
And that's lean and mean, and that's more comfortable.
West Coast, East Coast.
West Coast meets East Coast, right in Iowa. So this is a regular startup,
So this is your regular startup.
and this is startup on in a Koval rye
Rye barrel.
barrel.
Awesome, perfect. So again, I mean, you guys have like some of the most perfect head I've ever seen on an American beer.
Thank you.
I mean, this is just, I mean, you could see the well-craftedness of your beers come through just by sampling through them. I mean, you guys do a fine job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Strong coffee flavors. And I'm getting a little back notes of chocolate and just a tinge of that dark chocolate bitterness, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit about these ones.
Well, we, like I say, been brewing this one for a while too. It was more of just a hefty stout, and we wanted to do something more in the specialty range, so started reformulated it to fit some. We use bittersweet chocolate, cocoa nibs, and coffee.
Okay.
In it. And we just wanted to, I've had a lot of coffee beers, and a lot of them are kind of on the nuanced side. But if I want a coffee beer, I want a coffee beer that tastes like a cup of coffee.
Yep.
So we made it strong on purpose. We actually throw the grounds in the fermenter.
Okay.
After primary is done, we throw the grounds in the fermenter and let them stay on there probably.
You can definitely tell the coffee taste really comes out on that. I mean, that is a really good, for coffee drinkers, this is like the perfect beer. Wow. Now, I just took a sip of the one that was brewed in the rye barrel.
Yeah.
And this really does change
Doesn't
the
it?
flavor profile to it. I mean, it took on an almost piney taste, I think.
I think I need to try that.
I think you do too. So it took on almost kind of a piney taste to it, and I don't know if I'm just tasting that wrong, but I mean it pairs very well with the coffee. I'm thoroughly enjoying both these beers for different reasons. So I think barrel-aged fans that are really an up-and-coming thing in the craft beer world are really going to enjoy something like this.
Oh, this is really toned down too. That's the beauty of it. It seems like it just doesn't.
It mellowed a
It
little.
doesn't stop in its journey. You know, like when it's out of the barrel, it's not done.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For having us out here. It's
You're
been
welcome.
a pleasure. You guys have a great operation here, and we look forward to maybe seeing you up in the cities one day.
You bet.
So thank you very much. Guys, that's all from Kalona, Iowa. We're here at Kalona Brewing, and we're signing off for today. Prost.
Prost.
So we're just leaving Kalona Brewing Company, heading to our next stop in Indiana. Well, what did you think about Kalona Brewing?
Kalona Brewing, first off, let me state, really cozy atmosphere if you guys are ever driving through the area. Highly recommend it. Their beers are beautifully crafted. I mean, when you look at their beers, you can just see the passion and the creativity that I've got into their beers. Definitely try out their startup stout. Their startup stout was brilliantly done. Compares with just about any coffee stout out there. I also got to sample some of their saisons off the camera too. I highly recommend those too, especially if you're a big fan of like things like Lewbricator, Farm Girl saison. This is definitely right up there. The best part is if you go down Christmas time, they actually have 3 different saisons that are available. So great beers, a lot of passion to it, and just some of the friendliest staff you will ever meet. I mean, they were really good hosts, and I thank them for opening their doors to us. So overall, great experience. What a great start to this road trip. We got some daylight now. It's pushing 11 o'clock, and we're on our way to Indiana. So kick back, enjoy the road, and we'll see you at Figure 8 Brewing. Prost.